this video, we're going to be going through my Magic the Gathering cube again. This will be episode 5. We will be done going through the main 5 colors. We did white, blue, black, and red, and now we are on green. I have my Treasure Cruise playmat here. And my box of cube cards. Let's take out the greens. Alright. Green is the color of elves, the color of plain lands and mana ramp. It's also involved with the graveyard a bit. There's enchantment killing and artifact killing. All kinds of fun stuff. So, as usual, we're going to start with the rares, of which there are 7 in each color. Let's do it this way. We have 2 elves, so I'll do them first. Our first one is Thelonite Hermit. It's a 4-mana 1/1 elf shaman, but has morph for 5. So you can play it face down as a 2/2 for 3 mana, then turn it face up for 5 mana. Saproling creatures get +1/+1, and you'll probably want to morph it because when it's turned face up, you get 4 Saproling tokens. And they are 1/1 tokens, but they'll all be 2/2s with this guy out. So, for 5 mana, and I suppose 8 mana total, you will get 9 power, split across 5 different creatures. And there's a few other Saproling makers in the cube, so if you get more, then it's just value. But it's also an elf, which is nice. And tokens are always generally good. The other elf card is sort of the elf lord of the deck, of the cube. Jwynin Gildleaf Dane. She's a 4-mana 3/4 legendary creature, elf warrior with reach. Other elf creatures you control get +1/+1. And whenever she attacks, you gain 1 life for each attacking elf you control. So you gain at least 1 life when she attacks. And if you're playing elf trample, it gets even better. Gaia's Revenge is a 7-mana 8/5 elemental. It can't be countered. It has haste, which is cool for green. And it can't be the target of non-green spells or abilities from non-green sources. So it's a big bomb that's hard to get rid of. Very, very hard to get rid of. Only by creature damage or another green spell. Whisperwood Elemental is a 5-mana 4/4. At the beginning of your end step, manifest the top card of your library. So you put it face down as a 2/2. And you can turn it face up for its mana cost if it's a creature. You can sacrifice Whisperwood Elemental, and until end of turn, face up non-token creatures you control gain. When this creature dies, manifest the top card of your library. So, some sort of sacrifice deck could use that very well. In fact, this card came with the sacrifice-themed event deck for Battle for Zendikar. Hornet Queen is 7 mana for a 2/2 insect with flying and death touch. But you also get 4 1/1 insect tokens with flying and death touch. So that's a lot of flying and a lot of death touch for 7 mana. Very nice card to have. Rude Awakening is 5 mana with 2 different choices on it, and you can pay 3 additional mana to choose both options. So for 8 mana total, you can untap all lands you control, and or, until end of turn, lands you control become 2/2 creatures that are still lands. So if you're playing green, which you ramp up all your lands, and then suddenly you make them big. So that's pretty sweet. If, after rotation of both the Gatewatch, maybe I'll put Sylvan Advocate in this so that all the land creatures will become even bigger. Rites of Flourishing can help you out with Rude Awakening, getting all the lands out. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. Each player may play an additional land on each of his or her turns. That's 3 mana for an enchantment, does that. It's an interesting card. It benefits both players the same, but if your deck is built around lands, then that can help you out, help you ramp up. Yeah, that's all the rares. Undergrowth Scavenger is a 4 mana 0/0. It enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it, equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards. The fact that it's all graveyards is pretty nice. It works nicely if you're doing self-mill or if you're doing milling your opponent, which is pretty cool. Feral Incarnation is 9 mana for a sorcery with Convoke. You can tap creatures to pay for 1 mana of this mana cost, and you get 3/3 Green Beast creature tokens on the battlefield. So it's fair if you don't convoke it. It's pretty insane if you do convoke it. Civic Wayfinder is a 3 mana 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land and put it into your hand. And it's also an elf and a warrior. We have our Shadows over Innistrad Vessel, like we have for each color. Vessel of Nascency is 1 mana, and you can pay 2 and sacrifice it to reveal the top 4 cards of your library and put an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker from among them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Werebear is a 2 mana 1/1 that taps for a green, and if you have Threshold, it turns into a 4/4. So that's pretty fun for the graveyard strategy. Speaking of graveyard strategy, Become Immense is 6 mana to give a creature +6/+6 till end of turn, but it has Delve, so you could potentially be paying just 1 green for this effect, which is absolutely insane. Sylvan Might is 2 mana to give a creature +2/+2 and trample. It has Flashback for 4. So every color has some Flashback, I believe. Naturalize, 2 mana to destroy an artifact or enchantment in instant speed. Seek the Horizon is a nice ramp. It's 4 mana for a sorcery. Search your library for up to 3 basic land cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Sylvan Messenger is a 4 mana 2/2 elf with trample. When it enters the battlefield, you reveal the top 4 cards of your library and put all elves revealed this way into your hand and the rest on the bottom in any order. So for elf trample, it helps you search up your elves. Pulse of Marasa, for 3 mana, you can return a creature or land from a graveyard to its owner's hand. You gain 6 life. Krufix's Insight is a 3 mana sorcery. Reveal the top 6 cards of your library. Put up to 3 enchantments from among them into your hand, and the rest into your graveyard. Paragon of Eternal Wilds. It's a 4 mana 2/2 that buffs up other green creatures by 1/1. Pay a green and tap it, and another green creature gains trample until end of turn. A nice support card for your green creatures. Flinthoof Boars for green-red. It's a 2 mana 2/2. Gets +1/+1 if you control a mountain. You can pay it red to give it haste. So turn 3, you can play it. It'll be a 3/3 with haste, potentially, if you have a mountain out. Sunblade Elf is a 1 mana 1/1 elf. gets +1/+1 if you control planes. You can pay 4 and a white, and creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So that's a fun elf. Sort of breaks the mold of black-green elves by adding some white in. So, if you think it's worth it for the splash, there's a few green-white cards that I believe are elves. Infuse with the elements is 4 mana for an instant with Converge. But X +1/+1 counters on target creature are X the number of colors of mana spent to cast Infuse with the elements. That creature gains trample until end of turn. When I play Sealed or Draft, I often do 3 colors, especially in Sealed, so that card, Converge could be good, but I think it's the only Converge card I put in here. Back to Nature is a 2 mana instance to destroy all enchantments. Reclamation Sage is an elf, 2/1 for 3. When it enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. Kind of a staple card in a lot of formats as a sideboard option, or in Commander. Elvish Vanguard is a 1/1 elf for 2. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Or when another elf enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Elvish Vanguard. So it grows itself for playing Elf Tribal. Elvish Mystic is just a 1/1 for 1 that taps for a green. Some nice ramp in the Elves Tribal, or really in anything. Feed the Clan is 2 mana to gain 5 life, but the real payoff is if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you gain 10 life instead. It's a fun card for green where it's not hard to do. Oak Street Innkeeper is an elf, 3 mana 1/2. As long as it's not your turn, tapped creatures you control have hexproof. So if you attack with everything, then all those things are hexproof on your opponent's turn, which is awesome. Johnny Offshoot is a 1 mana 0/3 plant. It is a defender, and when a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. It's a good blocker, helps you stay alive. Yavimaya Enchantress is a 3 mana 2/2 that gets +1/+1 for each enchantment on the battlefield. Not just that you control, but on the battlefield. Timberwatch Elf is a 3 mana 1/2 elf. You can tap it, and target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of elves on the battlefield. Once again, on the entire battlefield, not just the you control. Fruit of the First Tree is 4 mana for an aura. Enchant creature. When enchanted creature dies, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is its toughness. Roar of the Worm is 7 mana for a sorcery. Put a 6/6 green worm creature token onto the battlefield. But it has flashback for 4, so if you can put it into your graveyard, then that works very nicely. Get a 6/6 for cheaper. Briarpack Alpha is a 4 mana 3/3 wolf with flash. When it enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So it's a nice surprise. A combat trick for an attacker or a blocker. Works very nicely. Ivy Lane Denizen is an elf warrior. It's a 2/3 for 4. When another green creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Satyr Wayfinder is a 2 mana 1/1 creature satyr. When it enters the battlefield, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them into your hand, put the rest into your graveyard. So more graveyard stuff in green, maybe green-black. Joinen's Elite is a 2 mana 2/2 elf warrior. When it enters the battlefield, if you control another elf, put a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token onto the battlefield. sorcery. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Whisper of the Wilds is 2 mana for a 0/2. You can tap it to add a green to your mana pool. But you can add 2 green to your mana pool if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Which again, not hard in green. Sporebound is another one of those Saproling cards. It's a 5 mana 3/3 fungus creature. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 green Saproling creature token onto the battlefield. Temur Sabertooth is 4 mana for a 4/3 cat. Can pay 2 and return another creature you control to your hand. If you do, Temur Sabertooth gains indestructible until end of turn. If you really need to save a creature, just pay and return something. Winds of Calcisma is 2 mana for an instant. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. So it's like a fog for 1 extra mana. But what that 1 extra mana pays for is the Ferocious trigger. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, instead prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by creatures your opponents control. So, if you have a strong creature, your creatures deal damage and theirs don't. Reviving Melody is a 3 mana sorcery. Choose one or both. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, and or return target enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Orin Scourge Elf is a 2 mana 1/1 elf warrior with protection from goblins. Scout the Borders is a 3 mana sorcery. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature or land card from among them into your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. Warrior's Lesson is 1 mana for an instant. Until end of turn, up to 2 target creatures you control. Each gain, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So it's basically the card form of the new band-colored Tameo Planeswalkers, +1. I believe it's their +1. Seed Guardian is a 4 mana 3/4 elemental with reach. When it dies, put an XX green elemental creature token onto the battlefield, where X is the number of creatures in your graveyard. Another graveyard payoff card. Colony Heart Expedition is a 2 mana enchantment with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a quest counter on Colony Heart Expedition. Remove 3 quest counters from Colony Heart Expedition and sacrifice it. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So, nice way to ramp even farther. And get more landfall triggers on other cards. Our last card is Gamekeeper. It's a 4 mana 2/2 elf. When it dies, you may exile it. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card onto the battlefield, and put all other cards revealed this way into your graveyard. So, powerful uncommon. So guys, that is green, and that finishes all of our monocolored stuff. We did all of this, and we still have all of this to do. So a decent chunk of it. We have multicolored, colorless, and land. Multicolored will probably get its own video. Oh, I should say, I guess it's just this, because these are all tokens. My bad. So, multicolored will probably have its own video. It's as big as any of the colors. But artifact, or colorless, will probably go along with lands, because they don't have a lot of colorless cards. Or a lot of land cards, necessarily. So, that'll be like that. So guys, hope you're enjoying this thus far. This is the 5th video, so let me know how you're enjoying the cube. And stay posted for the next episodes. And I might get sleeves for the cube, so if I do, I will make a video sleeving the cube. There will probably be no talking. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.